because every morning was the same. I woke up with numb legs, feet cold as ice, and a tingling sensation that wouldn't let me start the day right. I even struggled to stand up. I had to wiggle my toes for several minutes to feel the blood begin to circulate. Sometimes I'd get up and, with that very first step, it felt like I was walking on pins. If you've ever had that sensation, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I tried everything. I changed my mattress, took supplements, drank more water, and even tried doing morning stretches. But the results were minimal. There were days when I simply resigned myself to thinking, it must be part of getting older. But one day, talking with a friend who has spent years studying natural therapies, she recommended something so simple that at first it seemed silly, applying a specific oil to my legs and feet every morning. She explained that this oil, used for generations in different parts of the world, has unique properties to activate circulation, reduce the feeling of heaviness, and restore energy to the extremities. I decided to try it, and what happened next completely changed my mornings. I'm not saying it's a miracle cure, but since I've been using it, I can get up without that stiffness, without that constant cold, and walk more lightly from the very first minutes of the day. And that's why I'm making this video. Because I know I'm not the only person who has gone through this. If you've ever wondered why your legs feel so tired, why your feet are always cold, or why it seems like blood doesn't circulate well in your extremities, stay until the end. Today, I'm going to tell you which natural oil I use every morning, how to apply it correctly so it truly works, and as a special gift, at the end of the video, I'll share a homemade recipe to prepare a much more powerful circulation massage. Something you can make yourself at home, easily and affordably. So, before we continue, I'd love to know, how old are you, and from which country or city are you watching me? Leave it in the comments. It makes me really happy to know, because that way I can better understand who I'm talking to and tailor the next videos for you. Now then, let's begin. Now then. Before talking about the oil and how it can help you, I want you to understand why so many older adults, perhaps like you or someone you know, suffer from poor circulation in the legs and feet. Because understanding the problem is the first step to solving it. The first thing you should know is that, as we age, our circulatory system doesn't work the same as when we were young. Arteries and veins start to become less elastic. This means blood has a harder time flowing freely through the body, especially to the extremities, like the legs and feet. But aging isn't the only culprit. A sedentary lifestyle, that is, spending too many hours sitting or lying down, also plays a key role. When we don't move enough, blood tends to pool in the legs. This causes that feeling of heaviness, swelling, and even tingling. Diabetes is another very important factor. Many older people have high blood sugar levels, and over time, this damages blood vessels and nerves. As a result, circulation in the legs is affected, and symptoms like cold feet or frequent cramps appear. Hypertension or high blood pressure also has a lot to do with it. When blood pressure is elevated for years, the arteries suffer damage. They become stiffer and narrower, making it harder for blood to pass through. And we can't forget high cholesterol. When there is too much bad cholesterol in the blood, plaques form in the arteries. These gradually clog them and make circulation even slower. Lastly, there's venous insufficiency. This happens when the valves inside the veins in the legs don't work properly. Instead of pushing blood back to the heart, the blood gets trapped in the legs, causing swelling, a feeling of heat, or even varicose veins. And of course, all these factors often mix together. Many times a person has 2, 3, or even more of these problems at the same time. Now, let's talk about symptoms. You might recognize some of them. Cold feet, even on warm days. That sensation that no matter how thick your socks or blankets, the cold doesn't go away. Swelling in ankles and feet at the end of the day, especially after a long time standing or sitting. Tingling, as if thousands of tiny needles were pricking your legs. Night cramps, those sudden pains that wake you up in the middle of the night. And of course, the feeling of heavy legs, as if every step took twice the effort. To give you a clearer example, I want to tell you the story of Rose, a fictional woman, but based on many real stories I've heard. Rose is 74 years old. For years she worked as a seamstress, always seated without moving much. In addition, she has had diabetes for more than a decade, and her doctor has told her she also has high cholesterol. Rose first noticed that, at the end of the day, her feet were cold. Then came the nighttime cramps. After that, swelling in her ankles. And finally, pain and heaviness that kept her from walking more than a few minutes without discomfort. Like many people, Rose thought it was normal, just part of aging, that she simply had to endure it. But the truth is, it doesn't have to be that way. If you felt identified or you know someone like Rose, keep watching this video, because now we're going to go into detail about the natural oil that can help you improve circulation and relieve all these annoying symptoms. Let's go. Now that you know why so many older adults suffer from poor circulation, it's important you understand a fundamental point. This isn't a problem you can ignore or simply let pass. Poor circulation in the legs and feet, if not treated in time, can have truly serious long-term consequences. At first, it may seem small, a bit of swelling, some tingling, cramps once in a while. But with time, what today is merely a nuisance can turn into something much more serious. One of the first risks is leg ulcers. These are open wounds that appear on the skin and take a very long time to heal. Why does this happen? Because when blood doesn't circulate well, the skin and tissues don't receive enough oxygen or nutrients. And without them, any small wound can become a sore that doesn't heal, that hurts, and that easily gets infected. Another very common problem is varicose veins, those bulging dark veins that appear mainly on the calves. They're not just unaesthetic, they can cause pain, itching, and even inflammation. In more advanced cases, varicose veins can rupture and cause bleeding. And if we talk about bigger dangers, we have to mention deep vein thrombosis. This occurs when a blood clot forms in a deep vein of the leg. That clot can block blood flow, causing intense pain, swelling, and warmth in the area. But the most dangerous part is that if that clot breaks loose, it can travel to the lungs and cause a pulmonary embolism, a life-threatening situation. If you are also diabetic or have blood sugar issues, the risk increases even more. Poor circulation combined with diabetes can lead to what doctors call diabetic foot. This means wounds on the feet don't heal well, infections are frequent, and, in extreme cases, it can end in an amputation. I know it sounds tough, but it's the reality. And I want to be completely honest with you, because it's better to prevent than to regret. Now, how does this affect quality of life? The answer is simple. It reduces it in every way. Imagine not being able to walk more than a few meters without pain, having to sit down every 5 minutes because your legs feel too heavy, feeling constant fatigue, as if you were carrying sandbags tied to your ankles. Even simple tasks like going to the grocery store, taking a short walk, or just getting out of bed become daily challenges. And if this sounds exaggerated, let me tell you the story of Mr. Manuel. He is 75 years old. 5 years ago, he began to notice a bit of swelling in his ankles at the end of the day. Nothing serious, he thought. It's age, he told himself. Then the nighttime cramps started. After that, the constant tingling sensation. Later, varicose veins appeared, and with them, pain when walking. Today, Mr. Manuel can barely walk without a cane. There are days when he needs a wheelchair to leave the house. Climbing stairs has become almost impossible, and any wound on his legs takes weeks to close. That's why it's so important to act in time. Improving circulation isn't just about comfort, it's about quality of life, and even survival. Now then, the time has come to understand why certain natural solutions, like essential and plant oils, can make a big difference in your circulation. First, you need to grasp something basic. Blood circulation largely depends on the condition of your blood vessels, the strength of your heart, and the health of your tissues. And this is where natural oils come into play. Many essential and plant oils contain what scientists call vasodilating active principles. This means they help widen blood vessels, allowing blood to flow more easily to the extremities. When you apply these oils to your legs or feet, those components penetrate the skin and act directly on the capillaries, stimulating blood flow. But not only that, some oils also have anti-inflammatory properties. What does this mean? They reduce swelling and soothe inflamed tissues, making it easier for blood to circulate. In addition, other oils act as natural analgesics, relieving the sensations of pain, tingling, or cramps, so common in people with poor circulation. And here's something many people don't know. The power of these oils doesn't act only on the skin. There is a discipline called aromatherapy, based on the ability certain aromas have to stimulate physiological responses in the body. For example, simply inhaling the aroma of some oils can cause a slight acceleration of the heart rate, dilate the bronchi, and of course, stimulate peripheral circulation. But the most powerful benefit comes through another route: cutaneous absorption. The skin, although it seems like a barrier, has an amazing capacity to absorb certain lipid components. When you massage with these oils, their active principles pass through the layers of the skin and reach superficial blood vessels, activating microcirculation. And if you're wondering, is this proven by science, or is it just a grandmother's home remedy? The answer is clear. There are studies that support these effects. For example, a study published in the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine analyzed the effect of a massage with rosemary and peppermint essential oils on peripheral circulation. The results showed a significant increase in blood flow in the extremities after only 15 minutes of application. Another study, carried out by Korean researchers and published in the Journal of Korean Academy of Nursing, showed that topical use of essential oils, combined with massage, significantly reduced the sensation of heavy legs and improved venous return in older adults. And these are just two examples. There is more research that supports the use of oils such as ginger, cypress, eucalyptus, or lavender to improve circulation. But there's a key detail we can't overlook: the method of application. It's not enough to place a few drops on the skin and wait for results. The real magic happens when you combine the oil with conscious, consistent massage. By massaging, you not only help the product penetrate better, you also manually stimulate the movement of blood through the vessels. It's like giving your circulatory system a little extra nudge. Imagine your hands moving up your legs in upward strokes, from the ankles to the thighs, activating every small blood vessel in their path. That combination of physical touch plus natural active principles may be exactly what your body needs to start the day with more energy, less pain, and a real sense of well-being. Very well. The moment many of you have been waiting for has arrived. The star oil I use every morning to activate circulation in my legs and feet is rosemary oil. That's right, the humble yet powerful rosemary. This essential oil, extracted from the leaves of the plant, is one of the most recommended by natural therapists and specialists in alternative medicine when it comes to stimulating blood flow. And why rosemary in particular? Let me tell you. First, rosemary oil is known for its vasodilating properties. This means it helps blood vessels dilate naturally, allowing blood to flow more easily to the areas farthest from the heart, like the feet and legs. In addition, it has a very potent anti-inflammatory effect. If you've ever noticed swollen legs after a long time sitting or standing, or if you've felt that heaviness at the end of the day, rosemary can be a real relief. Its ability to reduce inflammation improves the sense of lightness and progressively reduces swelling. But that's not all. One of the most appreciated characteristics of rosemary oil is its natural warming effect. When applied to the skin, many people feel a gentle heat that spreads little by little. This warmth is not only comforting, it also indicates that the oil is stimulating circulation in the area. At the lymphatic level, rosemary also has benefits. It stimulates lymphatic drainage, which means it helps eliminate accumulated fluids and toxins. This is especially useful if you suffer from fluid retention or tired legs. And in case you're wondering, is rosemary just a recent trend? The answer is no. The use of rosemary as a natural remedy goes way back. Way back. As early as ancient Greece, physicians recommended it to treat circulatory problems. The Romans used it in their thermal baths to reactivate the body after long days. And in the Middle Ages, it was a common ingredient in ointments applied to people with muscle ailments and blood flow issues. Even today, in countries such as Spain or Italy, many older people still prepare rosemary infusions or use its oil in massages to relieve muscle pain and activate circulation. And how does it work exactly on blood vessels? Rosemary contains several bioactive compounds, among them cineole, camphor, and phenolic acids. These components penetrate through the skin, causing controlled dilation of blood vessels and improving the flow of oxygen and nutrients to tissues. The result? Less tingling, less cold in the feet, less heaviness, and most importantly, a real sense of well-being in the legs. Now then, I don't want you to think rosemary is the only oil that works for this. Others like ginger, peppermint, or even cypress also have excellent properties for circulation. But if I had to choose only one, for its combination of history, scientific evidence, and personal results, rosemary would be my top choice. Very well. Now that you know which oil is the star for activating circulation in legs and feet, it's time to learn how to apply it correctly so it truly works. Because let me tell you something, it's not enough to put a few drops on your skin and wait for miracles. The way you apply it is almost as important as the oil itself. First, how much should you use? The ideal amount is usually between 5 and 8 drops of rosemary essential oil, previously diluted in 1 tablespoon of a carrier oil. What's a carrier oil? It can be sweet almond oil, coconut oil, or olive oil. The reason for diluting is simple. Essential oils are very concentrated, and applying them directly to the skin could cause irritation. So, in one hand, mix your carrier oil with the rosemary oil. 1 tablespoon plus a few drops, and your blend is ready. Now to the technique. The massage should last at least 10 minutes per leg. Yes, I know, it may seem like a lot, but those 10 minutes are the key to truly activating circulation. Always start from the feet. Begin applying the blend with gentle but firm movements on the soles of the feet, the ankles, and moving up toward the calves. The key is that the massage should be upward, always toward the heart. This simple detail favors venous return, helping blood flow better from the lower extremities. Use the palm of your hand and your fingers to make circular upward motions. The pressure should be moderate, enough to stimulate the tissues but without causing pain. If you have an area that is particularly swollen or sensitive, be even more delicate. Spend a couple of minutes on each section, feet, ankles, calves and thighs if you wish. And here's a personal tip. If you can, do it in the morning, right after you get up and before leaving the house. Why? Because in the morning is when circulation needs the most stimulus after hours of inactivity during sleep. In addition, starting the day with this small ritual can make a big difference in how you feel the rest of the day. Now, if you want to enhance the effects even more, you can combine the massage with an additional trick: temperature contrast showers. This consists of finishing your daily shower by applying cold water to your legs for about 30 seconds, then switching to warm water and repeating the process a couple of times. This thermal contrast makes blood vessels dilate and contract, further improving circulation. First warm water, then cold, then warm again, and finish with cold. At first it may be a bit tough, but over time you'll get used to it, and I assure you your legs will thank you. Now a very important topic: precautions. Never apply this oil, nor any other essential oil, on open wounds, irritated skin, or areas with rashes. Don't use it either if you have a known allergy to rosemary or if you've had reactions in the past with similar products. If this is your first time using rosemary oil, I recommend doing a patch test. Apply a small diluted amount on the forearm, wait a few hours, and see if there is redness, itching, or discomfort. And remember as well, this method is a complement, not a substitute for medical treatment if you have serious circulatory problems. Always consult your doctor if you have doubts or pre-existing conditions such as very advanced varicose veins, thrombosis, or heart problems. But if you're consistent and apply this massage every morning, I assure you that over time, you'll notice a big difference. Less feeling of tired legs, less tingling, more warmth in your feet, and above all, that pleasant sensation of lightness to start the day. Now that you know how to apply rosemary oil correctly, I want to take this a step further. Because if you truly want an even more powerful effect to stimulate circulation in legs and feet, you can combine rosemary with other natural oils that have complementary properties. Let's talk about them one by one. First, ginger oil. Ginger is known for its warming effect. It contains compounds called gingerols, which have natural vasodilating properties. What does this mean? They help widen blood vessels, allowing blood to flow more easily. In addition, its deep warmth is ideal for those who suffer from cold feet even in summer. If your main problem is the constant feeling of cold in the extremities, ginger is your best ally. Then we have cypress oil. This oil is famous in the world of aromatherapy for its tonic effect on the venous system. It has traditionally been used to treat problems like varicose veins, heavy legs, and edema. Cypress improves the tone of venous walls, facilitating the return of blood to the heart and preventing it from pooling in the legs. If you notice your legs are swollen or tend to retain fluids, adding a few drops of cypress to your blend can make a big difference. Next is peppermint oil. Peppermint provides an immediate refreshing effect thanks to its high menthol content. This coolness has a double benefit. First, it gives a very pleasant sensation, especially on hot days or after standing for a long time. And second, it stimulates cutaneous receptors, causing a slight constriction of the blood vessels followed by a quick dilation, which favors blood flow. It's ideal for people who suffer from tingling, cramps, or a burning sensation in the feet. Lastly, but no less important, eucalyptus oil. Eucalyptus has an anti-inflammatory and decongestant effect. If, in addition to poor circulation, you suffer from pain or inflammation in the legs, a few drops of eucalyptus in your blend will help relieve those symptoms. In addition, its fresh, penetrating aroma brings a very revitalizing sensation. Now you're surely wondering, how can you combine all these oils safely and effectively? Here's a basic formula you can prepare at home. 1 tablespoon of a carrier oil. It can be sweet almond, olive, or coconut. 4 drops of rosemary essential oil. 3 drops of ginger essential oil. 3 drops of cypress essential oil. 2 drops of peppermint essential oil. 2 drops of eucalyptus essential oil. This will give you a balanced blend of warmth, freshness, stimulation, and anti-inflammatory effect. Important: never use undiluted essential oils directly on the skin. Always dilute them in a carrier oil. Also, if you have very sensitive skin or a specific medical condition, consult your doctor before using this combination. Once you've prepared your blend, it's best to store it in a dark glass bottle, preferably with a dropper or airtight cap. The reason for using a dark container is to protect the oils from direct sunlight, which can degrade their active components. Store it in a cool, dry place away from heat sources. If you store it well, this blend can maintain its properties for between 6 and 8 weeks without any problem. If you want, you can prepare a small amount to try for a week, and if you see it works for you, make more. And here's an additional trick. If you want an even more powerful effect, you can gently warm the carrier oil before adding the essential oils. Just a little, lukewarm, never hot, so as not to damage the active principles. That way, the massage will be even more pleasant, and the oil will penetrate the skin better. Up to now, we've talked about the oils and how to apply them to improve circulation, but there's something I want to make very clear. No natural remedy works on its own if you don't accompany it with certain lifestyle changes. If you want this treatment to be truly effective, you have to help your body from the inside. First, let's talk about movement. One of the worst enemies of circulation in legs and feet is a sedentary lifestyle. Spending too many hours sitting or lying down makes blood pool in the lower extremities, causing swelling, heaviness, and, over time, more serious problems like varicose veins or even thrombosis. You don't need to run a marathon or go to a gym every day. It's enough to walk between 30 and 40 minutes a day at a brisk pace. If you can't leave the house, you can do simple exercises. Raise your legs, make circles with your feet, move your ankles, or practice leg flexes while seated. Even something as simple as standing up and walking around the house for 5 minutes every hour can make a big difference. Another fundamental recommendation: elevate your legs at the end of the day. When you finish your day, lie down and place your legs up, above heart level, for at least 15 or 20 minutes. You can rest them on cushions or against the wall. This facilitates venous return, reduces swelling, and relieves the feeling of heaviness. Now let's move to hydration. Good circulation also depends on how much fluid you have in your body. If you don't drink enough water throughout the day, the blood becomes thicker, denser, and has a harder time flowing. This increases the risk of clots and other cardiovascular problems. So make sure to drink, at a minimum, between 1.5 and 2 liters of water per day, unless your doctor has told you otherwise. Now let's talk about something delicious: food. There are certain foods that are true allies of good circulation. Here are some you should include in your diet if you want to boost the effects of the oil and the massage. First, ginger. We already mentioned it as an oil, but consumed in infusions or as a seasoning, it also has a strong anti-inflammatory and vasodilating effect. Second, garlic. It's one of the best foods for clearing the arteries and improving blood flow. It contains allicin, a compound that helps reduce blood pressure and improves vessel elasticity. Third, turmeric. Its active principle, curcumin, has a powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effect. You can add it to stews, soups, or even smoothies. Fourth, berries, such as strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, or raspberries. They are rich in antioxidants that strengthen blood vessels and improve microcirculation. And fifth, walnuts and other nuts. They contain healthy fats that care for your arteries and reduce bad cholesterol. And since we're talking about cholesterol, maintaining a healthy weight and controlling both cholesterol and blood pressure is essential. Excess weight forces the heart to work harder to pump blood throughout the body, especially to the extremities. This worsens poor circulation and can accelerate vascular deterioration. If you have hypertension, high cholesterol, or diabetes, follow your doctor's instructions to the letter. Controlling these conditions greatly improves circulation and prevents long-term complications. In short, move more, elevate your legs, stay hydrated, eat foods that promote circulation, and take care of your weight and cardiovascular health. Each of these small changes, added to the use of the oil and the massage, will help you regain energy and lightness in your legs and feet. Now I want to tell you something very personal, because everything I've explained so far isn't just theory. I myself have been using this oil over the last few weeks, and I can speak from my own experience. I remember perfectly the first day I applied it. It was a cold morning, like many we have at this time of year. I woke up with numb legs, cold feet, and that heaviness that had already become routine for me. I followed the process I explained earlier, step by step. I warmed the oil a little between my hands and began the massage from the ankles upward, making slow but firm movements. After a few minutes, I began to notice a slight sensation of warmth. It wasn't uncomfortable. On the contrary, it was as if, little by little, the blood began to move again. I also felt a mild tingling, similar to when you've stayed in the same position for a long time and circulation starts to return. The sensation stayed with me for a good part of the morning. I won't lie to you. It wasn't a miraculous, overnight transformation. But that small initial relief already gave me hope. By the third day, I could clearly feel a change. My legs felt less heavy at the end of the day. Before, simply standing for a while or walking to the corner store left me exhausted. But that day, after applying the oil in the morning, I went for a walk of almost 20 minutes, and I finished it without that extreme fatigue that had limited me so much. At night, I began to notice something even more important: fewer cramps. For months I had been waking up in the middle of the night with pains in my calves or feet. Sometimes the cramps were so strong that I had to get up, walk a bit, or massage them with my hands to make them pass. But by the end of the first week of consistent use, those cramps began to disappear. On the 7th day, I noticed something that really excited me. When I went up the stairs, I no longer needed to stop at every landing to rest. My legs felt lighter, firmer, more energetic. I even dared to lengthen my daily walks a bit. Of course, I want to be completely honest with you. Every body is different. What worked for me may take more time to give you results or even require some adjustment in your particular case. But if there's one thing I've learned in this process, it's that consistency makes the difference. It's not about applying the oil once and expecting a miracle. It's about doing it every day, dedicating those minutes to your own care, and combining it with the lifestyle changes I mentioned earlier. Walking more, staying well hydrated, eating better, and caring for your health. Today, after several weeks of following this routine, I can say I feel much better than before. And that's why I wanted to record this video and share it with you. Because I know how frustrating it is to live with that sensation of heavy legs, cold feet, and lack of energy. And I also know there are simple, natural, accessible solutions that can make a big difference. Before you rush to prepare your oil and start applying it every morning, I want to talk about something fundamental: precautions. Because even though we're talking about a natural remedy, that doesn't mean it's completely safe for everyone or that it can't cause side effects. First, the most important of all, skin allergies. Many people, without knowing it, may have sensitivity or allergies to certain essential oils. That's why, before applying the oil to your legs or feet, I recommend a simple yet effective allergy test. How is it done? Very easy. Take a small amount of the oil you're going to use, no more than 1 or 2 drops, and apply it to a less visible area of your skin, for example, the inner forearm. Don't wash it off. Let it work and wait at least 24 hours. During that time, watch for redness, itching, burning, swelling, or any other reaction. If everything is fine after that time, then you can very likely use the oil on the rest of your body without problems. Now let's talk about another important point: people with severe circulatory problems. If you have a history of deep vein thrombosis, severe arterial insufficiency, or if you've had blood clots in the past, you should not apply these types of oils without first consulting your doctor. Some substances present in these oils can stimulate circulation too much, and although that's good for most people, in these specific cases, it could represent a risk. I also want to mention people who are taking anticoagulant medications, such as warfarin or clopidogrel, among others. These medications already modify circulation and blood clotting, so combining them with oils that activate blood flow could alter that balance. Once again, before using any such product, talk first with your doctor or pharmacist. In the case of pregnant or breastfeeding women, special care is needed. Some essential oils can have effects on the uterus or on the baby's development. Therefore, if you're in one of these stages, don't use stimulating essential oils like rosemary or ginger without the approval of a health professional. Another important precaution: do not apply the oil to open wounds, recent cuts, or irritated skin. Remember that although these oils are natural, they contain very concentrated components and can cause burning or worsen irritation if the skin is damaged. And lastly, if you have very sensitive or dry skin, consider diluting the essential oil in a milder carrier oil, such as sweet almond, coconut, or jojoba. This will not only make the application safer, it will also help keep your skin hydrated. Remember, the key here is prevention. It's better to take a couple of minutes to make sure you can use the oil safely than to rush in without thinking and end up with an unwanted reaction. So before applying the oil to your legs and feet tomorrow morning, do the patch test. Consult your doctor if you have any of these conditions, and make sure you use it correctly. Now that you know why these types of oils are so effective and how to apply them safely, I want to share a very simple yet tremendously powerful homemade recipe. With this blend, you'll be able to prepare your own circulation-stimulating oil using natural, easy-to-find ingredients. Ingredients. First, the base. You need a carrier oil, the one that will dilute the essential oils and allow smooth application on the skin. Here are several options. Choose the one you like most, or the one you have on hand. Sweet almond oil, ideal if you have dry skin because it hydrates deeply. Coconut oil, very nourishing, but remember that at low temperatures it solidifies, so if you live in a cold place, you can warm it slightly before using it. Extra virgin olive oil, easy to find and rich in antioxidant properties. You'll need approximately 50 milliliters of this carrier oil, which is roughly 3 tablespoons. Now, the stars of the blend, the essential oils. 5 drops of rosemary essential oil, number 1 for stimulating circulation. It has a vasodilating effect, which means it helps blood flow better through the legs and feet. 5 drops of ginger essential oil provides a pleasant warming effect, improves blood flow, and combats the sensation of cold legs. 5 drops of peppermint essential oil provides freshness, relieves heaviness, and helps reduce inflammation in tissues. Step-by-step preparation. First, find a dark glass bottle with an airtight cap, like those used to store perfumes or oils. The reason for using dark glass is very important. Direct light can degrade the properties of essential oils over time. Pour the 50 milliliters of carrier oil into the clean, dry bottle. Next, add the 5 drops of rosemary essential oil. Then add 5 drops of ginger essential oil. After that, add 5 drops of peppermint essential oil. Once you have all the ingredients in the bottle, close the cap tightly. Shake gently for a few seconds so all the oils mix well. And that's it. That's how easily you can make your own homemade oil to activate circulation. How to store it. Keep it in a cool, dark place, away from direct sunlight and heat sources. A drawer or bathroom cabinet is ideal. If stored properly, this blend can remain in perfect condition for about 2 or 3 months. Before each use, I recommend shaking the bottle for a few seconds to make sure all the components are well integrated. Application frequency. Ideally, use it once a day, preferably in the morning, before you start your daily routine. This will help activate circulation early and prevent the feeling of tired legs during the rest of the day. If you have time, you can also repeat the massage at night, especially if you've had a very demanding day or have spent many hours standing or sitting. Remember, the key is consistency and applying the oil following the instructions I gave you in the massage section. Upward strokes, moderate pressure, and at least 10 minutes per session. With this recipe, you have a natural, affordable, and very effective tool to care for your legs and feet every day. We've reached the end of this video, and before I say goodbye, I want to review everything we've learned today. First, we understood why so many older adults suffer from poor circulation in legs and feet. Factors such as age, a sedentary lifestyle, conditions like diabetes or hypertension, and even high cholesterol can keep blood from flowing as it should. Then we looked at the long-term consequences of not treating this problem. From daily discomforts like swelling and cramps, to more serious risks such as varicose veins, ulcers, or even thrombosis. But we also talked about solutions. We discovered how natural and essential oils work, why they are so effective, and what science says about them. We learned which oils are the most powerful for improving circulation, and of course I shared that easy-to-prepare, easy-to-apply homemade recipe. In addition, I told you about my own experience, how in only 1 week of consistent use, I started to feel my legs lighter, less swollen, and with more energy to walk. And it's not just about the oil. We also covered which lifestyle changes can help you boost the results even more, like walking more, eating well, staying well hydrated, and elevating your legs after a long day. If you've made it this far, I want to tell you something very important. It's never too late to care for your circulation and improve your quality of life. Every small change you make today, every massage you give yourself, every step you take to activate your body will add up on the path toward healthier legs and a life with less pain and more energy. So I truly encourage you to try this method. Start tomorrow. Prepare your oil, follow the massage routine, and above all, listen to your body. You'll see that little by little, you'll notice the difference. If this video has been useful to you, I invite you to share it with someone who needs it. Maybe you have a friend, a neighbor, or a family member who also suffers from poor circulation and would really benefit from this information. And now, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments. Have you ever tried an oil to improve your circulation? Would you be willing to try this method? I'd love to read you and know where in the world you're watching this video from. If you haven't done so yet, subscribe to the channel, activate the bell so you don't miss upcoming videos, and leave me a like if you found it helpful. Thank you for joining me today. Remember, your well-being is in your hands. Start today, take good care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.